The sky turns gray against a fiery display of red and golden hues, like the day I fell for you. So what will you do when the sun begins to fall? I'm waiting here for you. Won't you answer my call? Don't you wanna get cozy with me? We'll dive into a reverie. Oh, don't you wanna get cozy? We'll sail across an ocean of sheep.
Hey, welcome everybody to CSI.
Hi, this is Candace Oglesby.
And my name is Wale.
And CSI stands for Courtship, Spirituality, and Intimacy.
And we're just so glad that you can join us in this podcast today. We just want to tell you first and foremost, we are not relationship experts, and we're not here trying to tell you how you should handle yourself in your relationship. Definitely not like that other guy, right? But we're just here to make sure that we share our journey with you, because it's been something that's really been great for both of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like Wale said, we're not here to try to convince anyone or, tell people what they should do as far as their connections, their relationship connections. But we're just here to kind of share with you what has helped with us in our journey. Our journey is still continuing. So hopefully as you are learning from us, we are also going to be able to learn from you all as well.
Yes, we're definitely looking forward to hearing your feedback. So remember, when you see these videos, like, share, comment, because we want to keep this dialogue going even after y'all watch this video. And so one of the things we want to do is just kind of tell you a little bit about ourselves, because you're probably like, who is Wale Ade? Who is Candace? Like, who are these people? First of all, my name is Wale Ade. Once again, I'm 35 years old. And I'm from Largo, Maryland originally. One of the things that I want you to know is that currently I'm a pastor at two churches. One's called Prince Emmanuel, it's in Bowie. The other one is called Pikesville, and that's in Pikesville, Maryland. And I'm also an MDiv student working on my Master's of Divinity in order to, kind of just further my certification. And so that's just a little bit about me. Candace, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am located in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a psychotherapist. I work in private practice, but I am also the owner and the CEO of Journey Mental Health Consulting Services, and also a research therapist. So I am just kind of got my hands all over the place, but I am so elated to be here with you all this afternoon. I don't get many opportunities just to kind of have fun. So I'm looking forward to just having fun with you all and really being able just to conversate and just kind of see where our conversation goes.
Excellent. Well, I know you guys probably want to know a little bit more about us. So we're just going to tell you about some of the things that we kind of enjoy doing. And so for me, one of the things I love doing is I love playing basketball, right? But as soon as the pandemic hit, that kind of went out the window. And so I actually just got on the court for the first time in a long time yesterday by myself, just shooting around. And my knee's a little sore because I'm getting old. But, it was fun being out there. Other things I like doing back before COVID, I know I like to watch movies. I like to read books. I like to hike. I like to see new places. I love art. Like, art is something that I just really enjoy. And so I like going to art museums. And just every time I travel, I like to go and find an art museum in the area. And I definitely love working with youth and working in the community. So those are some things that I like to do. Candace, what are some things you like to do?
Kind of similar to Wale. I enjoy outdoors, hiking, just taking walks, just being able to take in nature. Prior to COVID, really enjoy day brunch parties. You know how we millennials like to do. Spending time with my family. My family is super uber important to me. Traveling. So I love to travel. So I could just imagine for all my travel goers, just kind of how COVID has impacted us and being able to travel. But I will say one of the things that I have appreciated about COVID is that I've been able to travel to some of the local areas that I probably wouldn't have traveled to if it hadn't been for COVID. And when I'm not spending time with family and friends, I am with my soror. Shout out to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. To all my sorors. But those are just some things about myself when I am not working.
Wonderful. Well, as you can see, she's an amazing woman, right? And so one of the things that, now that you got to know us individually, we kind of want to just tell you a little bit about our journey. See, the thing about this is, I have a way of telling stories, right? And then she has a way of telling stories. So one of the things I just want to put the facts out there first. We met on an online app called Bumble, right? Mm-hmm. And so Bumble is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of one of a special type of online app where same swipe left, swipe right, if you like or you don't like the picture or the profile. And then what happens is, so the man swipes right, and he has to actually wait for the woman to send him a message first within a certain amount of time, or it expires. And if he doesn't respond in a certain amount of time, then it expires as well, and the match can't be made. And so I got lucky enough to have this wonderful young woman to swipe right on me. And maybe she could tell you a little bit more about her experience in that whole dating app.
So dating apps have not been my strong point. As I could imagine, just some of the ladies that I am talking to, I hated dating apps. Probably have been on dating apps, probably off and on for the past 5 years. And so being in a pandemic, I had just gotten out of a situationship. And so I was just like, man, I really want to be able to date and be able to be in a position where I could find someone that we were kind of really on the same playing field. But of course, during a pandemic, that's hard, and I could imagine it's still hard, as I have girlfriends that are still talking about, their struggles of trying to find people as they navigate a pandemic and the single life. So I actually, took it upon myself. I didn't really tell anyone, but I was like, what? I hadn't done Bumble. I had done eHarmony. I had done Match. I had done Hinge. I had actually done Plenty of Fish too, but I hadn't done Bumble. So I just took a leap of faith, and I was like, what? I'm going to get on Bumble just to kind of see what they have. And of course, the first probably week, it was not a lot of matches. I had ran across a couple of men that, we had some sort of connection, and actually had been able to go out on a couple of dates with somebody prior to me meeting Wale. But I saw Wale's profile, thought he was extremely handsome, and I was like, I'm gonna swipe right on this, not really reading the profile, which we will get into a little bit later, but definitely was like, I'm gonna swipe right and see what happens.
Well, thank you. Definitely, that was definitely my pleasure that she swiped right on me. My experience, it's a little funny when it comes to dating apps. I was on Bumble. I was on this dating app called Black, BLK. It was actually just for black people. And then I was also on Tinder. I can say by far Tinder was the worst one out of all the three. Black, it was iffy. Yeah, it was very iffy. And then I think definitely Bumble was the best one for me. Now, you all probably hate me when I say this, but I was that guy that was on Bumble, and would make matches, and sometimes I would respond, sometimes I wouldn't, it was, and I know a lot of women talk about that, how men don't respond or they don't, right? I was that guy, right? And so I feel bad now that I hear kind of some of Candace's experiences. We talked about it. So yeah, you might have gotten a response. Sometimes I was just bored, to be honest. And so, but the great thing, what connected me with Candace was not only, man, we look, of course, physical appearance, and I just think Candace was gorgeous. But beyond that, she just looked like she had a lot of quality. She looked like she was well put together. And so I messaged her, right? Or she messaged me first, and I messaged back. And the thing about it is, it might have just been a casual back and forth, but then she told me about doing a presentation for her church. And so I was a pastor, and I'm hearing, oh, this woman goes to church and she's active. And so I think that's really what hooked me in to kind of continue the conversation and start building upon that. And so I know she has an experience when it comes to my profession. And so I love for her to share it with you guys.
But ladies, don't let him fool you. I had to be the one to initiate a follow through because according to Wale, we would probably just continue to spend our time writing each other back and forth. And I remember, him asking me about how, this presentation I had done had gone. And I was just so excited about it because the presentation actually went really well. But he was trying to text or type about this. And I just said, brother. I was just like, this is more of a conversation that we have on the phone because I get real passionate about my work. Any creative, any creatives, anyone who is a master of their craft, you know what I'm talking about, how we sensitive about our stuff, right? And so I really wanted to verbally share with him just how important this was for me. And so, I told him, I said, I think it would be best if we talk about this, on the phone. And he eventually led from there and asking for a number and actually being able to call me. And the conversation took off from there. But Wale's referring to this idea about him being a pastor. So I will say, ladies, I was the type of person that I didn't really read his profile. I just kind of went through the pics and I was like, man, that's a mighty chocolate fine man there. And so I did not see the portion where he said he was a pastor. And it wasn't until I was, we were planning to talk on the phone. I was like, let me go through this profile again to just kind of see, what this man does for a living. And then I saw pastor. And I was like, oh, man.
That was the icing on the cake.
That was not the icing on the cake. I was like, what have I gotten myself into? And I'm just going to keep it real. So, I was raised in the church. I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do consider myself to be a follower of the word, but I have seen some things, being in the church involving pastors. And so I was really hesitant. I was like, I don't know if I even want to step my toe into this. Because what type of pastor is he? We do know that there are different type of pastors out here, y'all. And so really I had to kind of just sit and really just kind of ask God, what is it that you want me to do? And so, it was just like, you've taken a gamble on so many other men that, were not worth my time. So, the Holy Spirit, I felt like, was like, just take a gamble on this and just kind of see, what's the worst that could happen, right? Nothing that I'm sure that I hadn't experienced already. So I went ahead and, I gave Wale my number and, the conversation just, took off from there. And I'm grateful that I allowed myself to be able to take a risk and a gamble on him. I will say it was probably one of the best gambles or risks that I have taken in my life.
But God, that's all I can say because, honestly, I wasn't, when I was in the app, I wasn't 100% serious myself. Like, I was at the point where I was kind of like, I'm just done. If relationship comes, it comes, but, I'm not going to get myself emotionally attached, just to be disappointed yet again, And so I think it was me, God on both of our ends, kind of allowing me to get a little bit more serious with Candace and, and actually like I said, she saw my picture and was just mesmerized by my eyes, And then I saw, her and then her message and, kind of hooked me. So God knew what we needed. And so I think, he just kind of worked that out. And so why CSI? I think CSI, once again, courtship, spirituality, intimacy. I think those are three key areas that aren't really talked about a lot, maybe individually, but I don't know if they're talked about collectively. So we kind of want to tap on that surface a little bit. Courtship, I know maybe your grandma had used that word a long time ago. And so people like courtship, what's that, right?
It's deceased, right?
And so we just kind of want to go into, intentional dating, right? With the purpose of marriage, right? We don't want to just I mean, I don't know about Candace, she's still young, but I'm kind of old. And I just don't want to, continue to, just date without a purpose. Like it's, date without a reason, it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. And so kind of want to go through that journey. The spirituality piece, do you want to talk on that a little bit? Or?
Right, so when we say spirituality, right, we don't mean for that to be confused with religion. That's not what we're referring to, but we're essentially referring to our ability to connect to one another. And I know a lot of times, especially with this generation and this age of dating, that spiritual component may be missed, for a lot of reasons. So we're going to talk about the importance of, being able to connect on a spiritual level, and what that looks like, because I think that goes beyond the superficial, right? How do we tap into under the surface? And how do we learn to be able to connect with, hopefully what is emotionally available people? Because I find that, we got a lot of people hooking up, connecting with folks, but who are emotionally unavailable. And so what does this look like to be spiritually connected to someone, but from a below the surface level understanding?
Right. And so, definitely the spirituality piece, we're not trying to preach to anybody. I know I'm a preacher, right? But I'm not here to preach to anybody. We're not here to preach to anybody. No. But we think spirituality is definitely a key part in our relationship. So we want to share that. And then intimacy, right? Intimacy is something that, I believe a lot of people think is just physical, right? When we think intimacy, but I think there's a lot more to it. And I think we learned some things during this pandemic that is very valuable on how we became extremely intimate outside of the physical. And so we're kind of share a little bit about that. What do you think?
And I think our ability to also, wait, right? I know I can personally say for myself that I had never been in a relationship in the past where I did not wait on the physical. It was, a lot of times, sometimes that physical would come before there was even a commitment. And so that didn't always work out in my favor. And we're not saying that everybody, right, needs to wait, because I think that that's a personal decision that people have to make. But just talking about the benefits of being able to connect beyond a sexual level when we talk about intimacy. Intimacy is more than just kind of on the physical. It's, my ability to be present with someone. It's my ability to kind of show up for a person and hold space, for this man that's sitting next to me. And I just, the sexual side of intimacy, I feel like gets a lot of attention, while there are other aspects of intimacy that I think almost get treated as stepchildren. But I think that they are sometimes more important than the physical aspects when we talk about intimacy. So we just want to share a little bit about how intimacy beyond the physical, I think, has really worked out for us, and has really benefited us on our journey. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, once again, we just want to thank you all for joining our podcast, joining our conversation, right? And we just want you to, once again, there's going to be a lot that's going to go over in the season or in
the series.
The series, right? And so, we just want you to be a part of our conversation. So let's sit, chat, comment, like, share, subscribe, And let's continue this conversation because we really, really want to make sure that we're sharing what we have and we're being as transparent as possible. So if anything that you can get from us, then, to help you in your search, that's great. And maybe through your comments, there's some things that can help us. And so we're open. This is no conversation for everyone. And so thank you once again. Any final thoughts, Candace?
No, again, we're just so grateful. I'm grateful to be here with you all. So I'm just looking for us, talking with each other, laughing together, crying together, because I think some of the topics we are going to kind of get into the nitty gritty. But I believe that we should be able to experience a lot, if any, numerous emotions while we get into some of these conversational topics. So again, I am just excited to be here with you all. As Wale and I mentioned, we are not experts in this thing. So just like we're going to be sharing with you and learning from you, I hope that you can learn from us as well.
All right. Well, I think that's about does it. So thank you so much for joining us on this first episode. Our next one will be up soon. So we look forward to seeing you again there. Have a great day.
Have a great evening.